All right, welcome to episode 6 of Nothing But Nuggies. I'm your host, Mr. Nugget, and today we are honored to be joined by our assistant, Amaletto. Amaletto is here to allow us to eat his face and to try a couple different ingredients with our chicken nuggets. So, Amaletto, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? First thing I noticed about you is you have a very big red nose. What is that? Oh, it's the top of a peanut butter jar. What is in there? Ah, okay. It is maple syrup. Now, Amaletto is a expert in maple syrup, and he told me that for maple syrup, it actually takes 40 gallons of sap from a maple tree to make a bottle of maple syrup. Now, I actually went to a maple farm with my family a couple years ago, and they kind of showed us the process, which was pretty interesting. Because when it comes out of the tree, it's kind of like watered down. So they gotta like take a lot of that water, evaporate it out of the sap. And so you end up with much less than you started with. It's a pretty time-intensive, laborious process, which might be why maple syrup is a little expensive. But it makes sense when you know how it's created. So we got some maple syrup for the nose. Also an interesting thing about maple syrup is it's a pretty short season for it. Like you have to harvest it, you got to tap those trees and get that sap out in like 6 weeks from like late February to early April. And if the weather isn't ideal during those 6 weeks, then sometimes they get very little sap during that time, which can hurt the amount of maple syrup available and possibly drive up the price. So maple syrup, pretty interesting. Okay, well, you got a beautiful red nose. Tell me about your mouth, Amaletto. It looks like it's made out of egg. Is that correct? Maybe just like a smashed egg. I don't know how else you would say you prepared that egg, but you look happy. And Tell me about your mouth. What about eggs? Oh, really? Americans eat about 19 pounds of eggs a year. Now, I know some people like eggs and some people don't. I'm rather fond of eggs. I probably eat more than 20 pounds of eggs a year, but they're definitely a staple in my diet. But one thing he did tell me, Mr. Amaletto, is apparently egg shells have different thicknesses, which I don't think I noticed, but a thick shell is actually produced by a younger chicken. And if the egg is laid by an older chicken, then the shell tends to be a little bit thinner. So, fun fact. All right. So I noticed that you have some beautiful chicken nugget eyes and ears. What about that spiky, funky hairdo? Waffles? Ah, interesting. What can you tell us about waffles? Well, Amaletto says that a lot of us are probably familiar with like Eggo waffles in the frozen section. He said that Eggo waffles used to have a different name when they first came out. They were called Waffles. Basically a combination of frozen and waffles, but they must have dropped that somewhere between now and then. But interesting. And that they also helped inspire the ice cream cone. I think it was maybe a World's Fair, maybe. And they ran out of like cups and bowls to put ice cream in. So one of the waffle vendors started wrapping it up in waffles. And the ice cream cone kind of came from that. So thank you, Waffles, for ice cream cones. So our ingredients today, we got the maple syrup. I just use egg beaters for the eggs. I usually use actual eggs, but this is what was in the fridge today. And then the frozen waffle. All right, so we're gonna try these on chicken nuggets and see if we can find another favorite to pair with our favorite treat. All right, what should we start with, Amaletto? Why don't we do, let's do the egg. Let's do it. We'll take your ear and an egg. Kind of reminds me of sushi. Haven't you seen sushi with the egg on top? I'm not sure what that's called. That's what it reminds me of. Let's try it. Good. Reminds me of a like an egg sandwich. Like a chicken and egg sandwich. The breading on the chicken nugget probably acts a little bit like the bagel or the English muffin that you might put a egg sandwich on. I like that though. Very good. All right. Now, we've all heard of chicken and waffles. Now, it always sounded a little strange to me, but very popular in certain parts of the country. So why don't we try that next? Let's take some spiky waffle hair and gouge out one of his eyeballs and see how that goes together. It's pretty good. Before, let's take a drink of water and cleanse our palate and hydrate. There we go, already. You know, it's a little bland. Because there's nothing really sweet or with a lot of flavor on the waffle, and same with the nugget. I definitely go with the egg. You'd almost think this would taste like a chicken sandwich, but without any sauce or anything, it's missing some flavor, I think. Now, the maple syrup, I gotta believe that's gotta be sweet. Gotta have a lot of flavor. I think that would be pretty tasty. So let's try that. I'll rip off your ear, Amuleto. Thank you for being such a good assistant. Ooh. And people put like honey and stuff on their chicken nuggets, so this wouldn't be too much different than that, I wouldn't think. Let's try it. That was good. It kind of does remind me of like a honey dip, which I wouldn't usually put on my nuggets, but it's good. I think that might pair real well with a waffle. So why don't we do that? Why don't we take the rest of this hair eyeball and add a little sweetness to this waffle and chicken combination and see if you can see what the whole chicken and waffle appeal is. Try that. Yeah. That definitely sweetens it up a little bit. I'll tell you what though, I think so far my favorite is probably still the egg on the chicken nugget. So, you're gonna get some protein in your chicken nugget, but if you want to add a little protein on top, maybe add the egg. While we're here, let's throw some maple syrup on this and see if that makes it even better. Let's kind of that palate. Hydrate, hydrate. Definitely sweeter. I think I like it without the syrup though. Just the chicken and egg. All right, and finally, like we like to do at the end of every video, is throw them all together and see how that tastes. So let's, you know what? Let's take his nose and pour a healthy amount on here. Ooh, let it fill up all those syrup catchers. And then let's put the chicken nugget, one eyeball, and some egg lip. Let's try all that together. That actually looks really good. That looks like kind of a breakfast sandwich, right? That you might get. Yeah, tasty. All right, let's put it together. That might be my second favorite. That's the other thing I go back to the chicken nugget and egg. was a favorite, but then all of them together was really good. Amuleto, thank you for letting us eat your face. You have been quite the trooper. If you guys are looking for something way to spice up your breakfast, maybe play with your food a little bit and see how that tickles your fancy. But if you want to tell us here at Nothing But Nuggies a way you would like to see chicken nuggets prepared, we would love to see that down in the comments. Feel free to like the video, subscribe if you don't want to miss future videos, and I look forward to bringing you more interesting, creative, unique ways to eat your nuggets in the future. Have a great day.